The League of Legends MMO is gonna be, no pun intended, an absolute game changer. It's most likely gonna be considered one of the biggest things to happen in gaming in the past 10, 20, maybe even 30 years. I personally think when it comes out, it's gonna be a paradigm shift. It's gonna set a new benchmark for what games to need to strive to be as, and especially for MMOs. It's gonna be huge and it's gonna be successful. And the person you're seeing right there in front of your screen, his name is Necrit. He is an absolute Giga Chad golden god when it comes to anything related to League of Legends and in general Riot. If a Riot developer tells you something, you double check with this golden god to see if it's accurate. He probably knows more about League of Legends Riot in general than most people working for that company. And he is telling us that this is gonna be great. Even better than you possibly could imagine. And I agree with him, probably.
Well, I already made 4 MMO videos, and at the end of the last one I said that would be my last one. Because up until that point I was simply showing people what already exists. Going past that point would be pure theory crafting. But no one said I can't talk about something that people already talked about. Okay, not entirely. You see, a lot of people mention some good and big reasons why Riot's MMO is set up for success. I will repeat some of those points in this video. But the reason why I decided to talk about this topic as well is because as someone who has been with Riot Games for over a decade, I know their patterns of
That is a lot of retcon lore, by the way.
behavior. I know their entire past when it comes to monetization, and that means all the good stuff and the bad stuff. I know their past when it comes to their game's success. And I know what they do when things don't go well. And
Admittedly, a little bit of a word of caution. Past behavior is not indicative of future behavior. To simplify that, yeah, things can sometimes change at the drop of a dime, and not always for the best, but not always for the worst. In Riot's hopes, things won't change because they're currently absolutely smashing most things that they touch.
some of these points tell us a lot about how Riot's MMO is shaping up. On top of all of this, Canon had the exclusive interview with Ghostcrawler, where we got quite a few golden nuggets, which includes a line that pretty much tells us that yeah, Riot is gonna go through with the MMO.
One of the nice things about Riot is we're not going to run out of money, right? I'm not going to have a publisher that's like, hey, if you
Riot has more money than God at this point, by the way, if anyone's interested. They are absolute industry juggernauts. They are making money over fist at this point, and in a good way.
you got to ship by Christmas or we're canceled. Riot will cancel this game if the game isn't good enough. They're
Because
not
they
gonna
don't
cancel
have
the
a
game because
publisher.
it's too expensive. And those
This sounds great. So, after combining all of this, suddenly I have a new topic to talk about. The real reason why Riot's MMO is set up for success. Let's start with all the things that we already know about. Perhaps the biggest reason for Riot being on the right path is already having a loyal following. When World of Warcraft launched for the first time, there were lines forming up around entire blocks. And why was that? Well, first of all, it's because digital purchasing was not a thing. But more importantly, because
The golden days, as some might say.
people knew the Warcraft universe from the other games. And they knew Blizzard as a great developer. Of course, Riot is riding the same wave. Hopefully with a different destination. People know League's universe from League of Legends. And Riot is essentially where Blizzard used to be. They are known for their great games, exactly as Blizzard used to be. They are known for taking a game idea, polishing it, and making it better than its inspiration. Exactly as Blizzard used to be. Speaking of which,
This is where the Blizzard fanboys are gonna say, Blizzard didn't steal everything they thought of. No, they stole a lot, and they made it better. And because they made it better, no one actually cares that you steal things. You can steal things in the gaming industry, but as long as you just make them better and incorporate them properly into whatever you're doing, everyone's absolutely fine with it. Theft doesn't exist in the gaming industry unless you get sued, but it doesn't exist in the casual sense.
If you're a fan of MMOs and you don't know much about Riot Games, you might be surprised to see all the successful games they have released. Of course, League
They
of
have a
Legends
lot.
launched as the better, simpler version of the Dota mod from Warcraft 3. Nearly 10 years later, Riot launched their second game, Teamfight Tactics, which was a new version of the auto chess from Dota 2. And once again, using characters people already know and love from League, Teamfight Tactics dominated its competition. And it now remains as the only big and still growing auto chess game on the market. Then we got the
I don't know if that's true. Auto chess kinda died after its peak hype moment. Do they actually have a growing player base? Well, probably, because there are people who unironically play Teamfight Tactics but have never played the real League of Legends. And this is, by the way, a huge strength of Riot. Just making good stuff. And they have multiple games.
third game, a card game using League's characters called Legends of Runeterra. From all of the Riot's games, Legends of Runeterra is the only game that didn't fully dominate its game genre. That's because card games already have a very narrow audience, and digital card games slowed down their growth. But on top of that, it is hard to pull someone away from their card game if they already spent money on it. However,
This guy knows what he's talking about. If he didn't mention that, the sunk fallacy cost here, I would have mentioned it, because that's 100% accurate. It's kind of hard to switch to a game where you know you're going to most likely have to spend hundreds of euros or USDs again, while you could just keep playing something you have already spent thousands of monies in.
despite that, Legends of Runeterra still managed to match Hearthstone. So
And by the way, yeah, for all the Magic fanboys, obviously Magic is not even on the fucking table of successful card game franchises. It's fucking Hearthstone. No one wants to beat Magic. Magic sucks. Hearthstone is what everyone wants to theoretically beat. And Riot's doing a reasonably good job at it.
these two are still battling for dominance, with the other card games being very close. After this we got Valorant, a new player-friendly version of Counter-Strike. Or at least new player-friendly compared to Counter-Strike, which is also using iconic characters for marketing. Even this game managed to dominate the tactical shooter genre. And
Oh, yeah.
now it is doubling the numbers of their two main competitors,
Holy
Rainbow
shit.
Six Siege and Counter-Strike.
I mean, is Rainbow Six Siege actually really such a big deal? People play it, but is there actually hype around it? I don't even know. There's a lot of hype about around Valorant and CS:GO, but Rainbow Six Siege, I think that's a little bit tall to compare that game.
But then, after Valorant, Riot went back to MOBAs. They looked at Mobile Legends Bang Bang. That's the real name, by the way. They realized it was essentially a League of Legends on mobile, and
I'm pretty sure they tried to sue them, obviously, for being a ripoff, but then they started doing more changes that set them apart, and then they couldn't sue them any longer because the games were considered too different.
they realized, why don't we do that? But better. And so Riot released League of Legends Wild Rift, a mobile version of League of Legends, which in many ways could be regarded as even better.
I have never played it, I have never heard anyone who plays it, but I'm pretty sure this shit is absolutely crushing it in places like China and Japan. I think that is without absolute question.
Better than League of Legends on PC. I mean, look at all those polygons. That's running on a phone. On top of that, even though it is a mobile game, it is using fairly standard monetization. And right now, while Wild Rift is dominating in the West, Mobile Legends Bang Bang is still dominating in the East in some countries. So
Yep.
Riot is currently in the process of dominating the game genre. But Riot did not end here. They recognized that people wanted to play more games with their League of Legends characters. And so they launched Riot Forge, a smaller publishing studio that is working with indie developers to make games with their IP. And here we already got 2 games. Hextech Mayhem is a League of Legends spin on the rhythm-based Bitrunner, a 30-minute game which I have about 10 hours in, and Ruined King, which is about 40-hour-long RPG that is telling a canon story from the universe. Also, you can find me here.
You may simply call me Necrit.
That's me! But in 2023 we are also expecting 2 more games. Song of Nunu, which seems to be an adventure platformer taking place in the harsh Freljord, and Convergence, a 2D action platformer in Piltover that seems to be lining up really well with Arcane 2. Both of these games were delayed from 2022 to 2023. Because... guess what? No, it's not crunch time. It's because Riot Games actually care about their games.
I mean, sure they care about their games, but honestly, crunch time is probably still a thing. Riot is not exactly that dream company that treats their employees like they're a part of the family, unless it's a really incestuous family, but that's, I guess, a different story.
With the 2 already released Riot Forge titles scoring 80% and 90% of overall positive feedback.
Jesus.
So, the takeaway from this is, yes, Riot has a history.
By the way, imagine the fact that Blizzard could have been this, but they decided, fuck bitches, get money, we're not gonna be this. Also, it seems like he's not gonna point out one thing about the concept of dominating, not even dominating, but just being a strong presence in different gaming niches. And what I'm talking about is marketing. You have League of Legends, which covers the MOBAs. You have Teamfight Tactics, where people, again, there are literally people who have never played anything but Teamfight Tactics from the Riot portfolio of games. You have Valorant and all of these things. These are all different genres with wildly different player bases. And and obviously, most people know that Riot owns that IP because they most likely see the logo. And when something new happens, most likely people from all these genres know that Riot's gonna release something big. AKA, they literally are getting hundreds of millions in free advertisement when they release something new and big, because all these different communities are gonna start talking about that big thing that they are doing, and that is just free marketing. And Riot, unironically, understand fully well how powerful is marketing. For the League of Legends World Championship and things like that, big events, they spare absolutely no expense when it comes to marketing. You can, in Japan and other places like that, you can see it on billboards, you can see it pretty much everywhere, just posters posted of that shit. And when the Riot MMO is gonna come out, they will most likely absolutely quadruple down on marketing. Because Riot does one thing also very good, that most likely he may not know because this is from a business point, but that is marketing. Riot unironically will market the shit out of everything that they seem worthy and as a big thing. And when the MMO comes out, oh my sweet dear summer child, your fucking dead granny will literally most likely get an advertisement delivered to her sarcophagus by a motherfucking mole rat, because that's how much money they are going to be spending on that shit. And I wish I was joking, because that's most likely a very plausible reality that we're living in, that Riot actually goes that far. Because Riot goes far with the marketing. And considering they already have so much free advertising because everyone knows them everywhere in gaming, it's just insanity.
Of nearly flawless game releases. They have not seriously flopped yet. And their monetization practices are not too far away from this. In Canon's interview, Ghostcrawler straight up mentioned they will not sell player power.
We're not going to do pay to win. We're not going to do pay to power. I'm pretty confident saying that. What the business?
That's a big one.
I probably said that, or a lot of players. It's just not Riot's style.
Right.
We really want players to feel like they're welcome back in the game at any time. And yeah, if life is rough right now and you're between jobs or you just can't, you can't pay for the subscription, I'd rather them not churn out rather than be able to keep playing. So that's why Riot has traditionally liked free to play with purely cosmetic purchases.
As you heard,
Okay, gonna chip in a lot here. Riot's monetization is one of the biggest mysteries, honestly, that exists currently in business, in gaming business in general. Because Riot is owned by Tencent. Tencent is owned by China. And if you know anything and understand anything about businesses, this is already probably creating questions. How the fuck can something that can be owned by China exist like League of Legends currently does, and how Riot does things on the west side of the world? Because it doesn't make sense. When it comes to China, there are different China and the East in general. There are different versions of the game for the West and for the East. For example, in the East, you cannot have anything that depicts male femininity, anything that is considered gay or goes against the traditional family values. All of that shit is 100% banned in Riot's games and pretty much every game. That's just the standard that is. And the thing is, China usually, well, not usually, literally every time that China has something big that they own and have control over, because Tencent is a part of China, and, well, if you're a part of China, that means that the government literally owns you, and they can just press the delete button on your existence anytime they want. And the thing about that is, League of Legends is not suffering any of the adverse side effects of being owned by China, which makes absolutely no sense. Because China, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but China kind of uses its influence wherever it can to kind of destabilize the West in any way that they honestly can find. It's by pushing some kind of ideas, it's by glorifying itself to kids. But League of Legends, as far as I have seen, doesn't do any of that. And doesn't make sense in my opinion. So that's kind of a big future red flag maybe, because at some point that must start. Because Tencent owning Riot, it just means that they have so much influence over, well, they literally can make them pretty much do whatever they want. And the fact that their monetization is fair also makes absolutely no sense, because Riot knows how much money can be acquired by pushing unloved monetization. Let's just call it like that. They know, and Tencent acquires companies with the idea that they're gonna make the money, aka they're gonna, they're gonna do things that make them more money and earn a lot for them. Skins are fine, but let's be real. A loot box makes so much more money than any skin release ever. Admittedly, the good part about skins is, if you play any game and its only monetization is skins, it's essentially a countdown clock, if you will. Sooner or later, if you're a dedicated player, you're gonna buy a skin. That is just a absolute fact of the matter. Almost everyone, it doesn't even matter how poor they are, at some point they will buy a skin. Because if you love a game and you buy a skin for it, that's like pressing to a certain degree a reset button on your enjoyment of the game. Because you're looking at one thing constantly, and suddenly that thing is different that you're looking at. And that's the effect of skins, and that's why skins are just a countdown clock for every individual person until they buy one.
the Ghostcrawler didn't even approach it as big news. He just casually dropped this piece of info because that's a given at Riot Games. Now I know what you might be thinking. In the past, some other developers from some other studios said they wouldn't do it. Until the moment they did it. So what makes this different for Ghostcrawler? Well, you see, this is simply how Riot operates.
Well, yeah. You honestly, you just have to hope that that's the case, that they don't pull any shady shit. But the reality is they could. The reality is, Honestly, that all Riot's also on a countdown clock because someday they will. Someday they will start to do a little bit more unfriendly monetization for how they acquire money. And the moment that shit slips in, you can't get it out. It's usually there to stay, and it's usually gonna get worse with time. Let's hope it doesn't happen, but chances are, sooner or later, it's gonna happen.
And if you need a proof, look no further than Riot's future game known as Project L. Project L is a league-based fighting game, and Riot is making sure the fighting game genre is yet another genre dominated by Riot Games. And in their latest dev update, they mentioned the exact same thing.
We want you to be able to play no matter where you live, what your skill level is, or how much money you have to spend on a game. To that, I'm happy to confirm that Project L will be free to play. If you've played a Riot game before, this probably won't come as a surprise.
Yeah. Everything's free to play nowadays, He honestly didn't say anything that kind of... He didn't honestly say anything encouraging. He just said, it's a free-to-play game. Yeah, literally like almost fucking everything nowadays. Every game is almost free-to-play. There's so little things honestly have box prices attached to them nowadays. Well, actually a lot of them have. But there are so many free-to-play titles because, free-to-play is actually the best way to actually gain money.
Our team is made up of fighting game veterans and folks who are passionate about serving the FGC. And we operate with one approach. If we wouldn't like it, we won't do it. When it comes to monetization, we promise to be respectful of both your time and your wallet.
Respectful of both your time and wallet. Theoretically, this doesn't exclude buying power.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna buy power in a fighting game, but yeah, at least he's cautious.
Anyway, what this means is that Project L will most likely run exactly like League of Legends. You play the game for free to unlock fighters, but you can also buy them directly. Now, because they mentioned that they will be respectful of your time, hopefully the grind won't be that awful. I assume it will be something similar to Valorant, where you can unlock each new character every week. Not one character per month, as some games are doing it now.
Oh my god, he's just bashing on poor Blizzard, and they fucking deserved every second of that piece of shit company.
Now, I mean, it's the same studio, they can just pass over the numbers and see what worked. And because they mentioned your wallet, I assume the skins won't be as pricey as Valorant. Speaking of which, let's...
Wait, how fucking much was that? Because I don't actually play Valorant.
I assume the skins won't be as pricey as Valorant.
Okay, I have no idea how much magically this is. But... I don't know, maybe this is $20 or something like that. I think this most likely has the same equivalency as Riot points in League of Legends. So yeah.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the overall monetization at Riot Games and what it means for Riot's MMO. Besides the indie titles, which are standalone games, every Riot game is a free-to-play game, which run on skins and time-saving monetizations. Now, when I say time-saving monetizations,
yeah, what do you mean?
You may jump to the conclusion that even time-saving is indirectly buying power. However, that really depends on what you are buying, and in...
that's such a admittedly, who actually levels their account to 30? No one. You buy an account for $10 and you get enough IP. Right? No, what the blue crystal shit? I don't know what it's called nowadays. You get enough for like instantaneously to join ranked. It's like why would you actually spend time leveling an account? That's insane.
Riot's case, I can confirm it is not pay to win. But before we get to that, let's quickly talk about the skins. In League, Riot struck a good balance, with most champion skins being between $5 and $10, with the vast majority of them having unique spell effects. And occasionally you can buy the massive $20 skins, which change up the entire animations of the champions. All of that is fairly standard, nothing crazy here. But I have to say, as I mentioned in my last video, it seems like Riot is shifting their focus away from League But while their focus is going to the other projects, they have to keep the monetization going. So these days, League is actually getting less gameplay content than we did a few years ago.
Really?
But we are still getting the same amount of skins. This
Well, of course, making skins is probably way easier than making any content, and, you know, it's easily to say way more profitable. But League of Legends is still always fresh, you know? Look at Dota. It's an absolute shriveled up fucking corpse of depravity. The game is not fresh at all. They make some kind of fucking change, no one cares. League of Legends makes the most YOLO 420 blazed fucking changes constantly because it just wants to keep fresh. And it works. And it works great.
means that because the vast majority of the content is skins these days, it seems like skins are dominating everything else. And I find it funny that you can connect this to what Ghostcrawler said in the interview about monetization.
Oh, actually, there's a thing about that. Just from a game standpoint, Riot could actually easily release a new champion literally every week if they wanted to. You know, like they did at the start, you know, to keep it fresh. But there's no reason kind of to do it because, you know, it's just problematic. A new person joins a game, there's a huge difference between learning what 10 characters do and now learning what 100, 200, 300 characters do when their skill descriptions are literally fucking mini novels.
To look at League of Legends, for example, if we stopped making champions and just kept making skins, at some point players are like, well, this kind of sucks. You're only focused on the money-making side of the game. So you need to do both. You need to make sure the game balance is good. You need to update everything that you can in order for players to feel good about it.
Yes, it kind of feels like League is in...
Okay. That's actually kind of fucking stupid answer. That's actually a really fucking stupid answer. Okay, here's the real thing. In companies, there's this magical thing called departments. There's the Department of Finances, there's the Department of Logistics, Advertisement. You fucking name it. If it's big enough, there's a department for it. The people who make skins have absolutely nothing to do with the people who make balance changes to the game, okay? Those are two separate departments, which each have their own objectives. The skins are gonna be pumped out no matter what these other departments do. The department that is actually responsible for the game's health is not gonna go to the skin department and say, hey, your skins are ruining in-game health. No, that doesn't happen. Or at least it shouldn't happen, technically. Maybe it can under some circumstances. But those things are completely separate. They don't influence, technically, each other.
Update everything that you can in order for players to feel good about it.
Yes, it kind of feels like League is in this situation right now. In Teamfight Tactics, you can do the same thing. You can buy a skin for a little commander on the battlefield which you control, which is called Little Legend. These are always on the cheaper side, with some more expensive alternatives which also have unique execute animations when you defeat an enemy. However, every Little Legend also has a legendary variation, which you can only get from eggs. And eggs are essentially loot boxes. And the amazing thing is, the TFT team realized that these loot boxes are bad. And after their first year, they allowed you to buy any Little Legend directly. Of course, it is possible that government with their anti-gambling pressured them into this. But as far as we know, there were no lawsuits and they did it themselves.
Well, you don't... Okay, sure, so this is also a little bit of a thing. Yeah. When governments actually started to suing companies about their loot boxes and things like that, they don't need to sue every company. After the first sue, every company started to look at things they are doing and said, yeah, you know what? Maybe let's not get banned off of UK in general. That sounds like a great business decision. And that's what they did. So, no government needed to actually go to Riot. After the first lawsuit, companies started changing things up by their own volition. Because they didn't want to be next.
And since people trust them on this, if anything, it shows you their reputation. TFT also offers their Battle Pass, which to this day has perhaps the best value out of any pass in any game.
I don't know about that. I haven't seen it, honestly, but Dota's Battle Pass, honestly, is kind of fucking hard to beat. That shit has so much value and stuff that people adore and love.
However, Teamfight Tactics also has the arena skins. Because these are a massive chunk of landscape, of course they are a bit pricier than normal models. But the unfortunate part is that sometimes they also offer the legendary arenas, which go for up to $200.
The
And
fuck?
I say up to because these arenas are a randomized drop. It is guaranteed to drop from egg number 60, which is around the $200 mark. But
Wait, he said that they removed the eggs, so I'm confused? Yeah, he said they removed... Is he talking about the past, how they did it?
since you can get it earlier, you are essentially rolling for a discount. When Riot first announced this, I was shocked. I simply didn't expect it. But then, Mordog, the lead TFT developer, talked about it on his stream. And I realized I was wrong. Because TFT is so free to play, by which I mean you can't go more free to play without giving people money back. I mean, while in other games you grind for new characters or something like that. From the moment you log into TFT, everything is unlocked and you get the full experience. Even in League, that's not the case. Because of that, he mentioned that there are people who want to spend money on TFT, but they can't. Because in this game, you only have one little legend, so you technically only need one skin. Once you have the one skin you like, you don't need anything else.
You will get bored of that one skin sooner or later. It's like the same idea why you bought the first skin. You buy a new skin, yeah, it's fresh, it feels good, but you know, time passes. For each person is different. Maybe for you're gonna love that skin a week. Maybe someone loves it for 2 months. But sooner or later, they're gonna look at a different skin and say, "I want that. Maybe I'll buy it."
So, the team wanted to give the whales some food to support the game. And if you still feel like this was a greedy move, just listen to what Mordog has to say about it. For context, he is gonna mention Kaisa, and Kaisa is one of the $200 skins.
Obviously, TFT has to make money to succeed, right? And so we have these expensive cosmetics that people want. That being said, if you don't have money, it can feel left out, and I agree with you. So typically what you have to do is you have to look for the opportunities to find something kind of comparable, and there will be opportunities. You're not going to be able to get everything, but for example, during events, there's going to be ones that are more accessible. You might get lucky and get one during an egg. It's also the kind of thing where, like, let's say you really like Dragon Chibimancer Kaisa. Who knows, in 2 years it may come back in a thing that's a promotion and be a little easier to get, you know, as time goes on. You never know, and so you have to find your moment where you can get the thing you enjoy, rather than, you know, you have to have the new now. And unfortunately, like a lot of things in life, money counts and it sucks when you don't have money. It really does, and I know that. I've been there. So that's my honest answer. Hopefully that was genuine enough.
I have never seen a dev so open about a massive, almost corporate level game. But yes, if anything, this shows you that Riot is trying to be fair about their prices. Lastly, when it comes to skins, we have to mention Valorant. Because Valorant is perhaps their most aggressive monetization. There, a normal recolor of a gun is...
I mean... Technically, Team Fortress already set the precedent with that. You know, buying hats, literally giving Valve billions upon billions of piles of billions. They kind of already made a precedent. After it was Counter-Strike, you know, loot box and all that shabazzle. Riot's not going to magically price their prices lower. They're going to price them as everyone is used to. Okay? That's how things work. It is still a company at the end of the day. And a company is not going to say, hey, we can sell this for $20 because, you know, literally everyone else is selling similar things for $20 in similar games. They're not going to go like, you know, we don't need the money. Let's sell it for $5. Nah, that's not how things work.
Is about $10, with a full new model going for about 20. On top of that, melee weapons, so for example knives, are double the price. So,
Everyone loves knives.
for a unique model on a knife, that would be $40.
Yep.
And on top of that, sometimes you get bundles of special weapons with unique finishers that go for up to $100. The
Yup.
logic behind this pricing is that for each gun you are only going to buy one skin. So once you buy a skin, you are unlikely to get another one. There is no gambling involved anywhere around Valorant. It is very much unlike Counter-Strike. So at least the monetization is not predatory per se. That said, it is still pretty high. Now that was all the notable skin monetization. It's fairly standard and sometimes the prices can go higher. However, remember, we are still talking about purely free-to-play games. So, let's talk about the potential pay-to-win. For Riot, the worst offender of this could be skipping grinds and buying characters. We can find this in League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra and Valorant. In Legends of Runeterra you can buy cards, but no one ever does that because the game gives you so many free cards you really don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Time to start just playing that if that's true.
In fact, the game is notoriously so fair it is struggling to make money. In Valorant you can unlock a new character every
That's insane, by the way, for a card game. Because card games are literally kind of designed to maximize money creation. Especially online, well, specifically online card games, I should say.
week if you really grind. Realistically, it is a new character every 2 weeks. And in League, you can buy champions directly, which could have been translated into power in the past. However, unlike in Overwatch, where picking heroes in the middle of the game can decide the game, and where the game is balanced around counterpicking, in League, that's not really the case anymore. A few years back, the game was balanced around hard counterpicking being a thing. But these days, Riot is trying to make sure that's not a thing for a very obvious reason.
Yeah.
Unlike in Overwatch, in League you lock in your champion for an entire game. So if you get hard counterpicked, you are not gonna have fun for the next 30 minutes. To combat this, Riot
There is absolutely no way anyone with even a shred of a brain can ever say that League of Legends monetization is pay to win in absolutely any way. That's just simply not true.
is slowly removing hard counterpicks from the game. And now you may have a slight advantage, but in general any champion can win against any champion. Because of this, if you look at the players at the very top of the ladder, you may realize that all of them are playing one champion. So in League, if you buy a champion, you don't buy power, because owning other champion won't affect how your game is going. But you buy the option to try out other characters. With that said, I should mention that League currently has over 160 champions, and the game is
That's a
giving you
lot.
a lot of champions for free to compensate. And again, it is free to play. But there is one more thing I need to mention. While Riot is built on a strictly not pay-to-win monetization, there was a time when you could buy power. This dark age will scare even the most powerful veteran players. Of course, I'm talking about runes.
Oh,
Yeah, for the first
big.
7 years in League's
Ah, look at that. That's the old client. Anyone remember this? This was amazing. Runes were absolutely horrendous, by the way. To deck out a full rune page with the good shit, that was like unlocking, I don't know, a champion or 2 or 3, depending on how expensive they were. It was absolutely horrendous. The first thing you needed to do when you got into ranked or max level was acquiring runes. And no one liked that, because obviously runes fit differently for, every type of playstyle that you want. Tank, AD, AP, or whatever, you needed different runes. And it was horrible. You needed to spend so much time filling out these rune pages. It was absolutely shit.
history up until 2017. Besides buying champions with the in-game currency, you also had to buy runes. Runes were basically sockets. They gave you tiny bonuses like 0.1 attack damage, or 1% crit. Of course, 1% crit was ridiculously overpowered, because all you needed was that one rune that gave you 1% crit chance. Because by default, everyone had 0.
Dude, that is so bullshit. I still remember Gangplank. You know, he just goes fucking starts with crit, and he randomly just hits his Q and crits you. You're done. You're done. Congratulations, laning's over, my dude. And if a second crit by some kind of miracle happens, well, congratulations, it's double over, my dude. It was horrible.
So in the early fights, what would happen if you had the tiny chance to win the lottery and crit them? Well, you would essentially decide the early fights. So of course...
Admittedly, I will tell you this about room pages, because no one did it. There were, you know, most room pages looked something like this. Because these were red runes, these were yellow runes, and these were blue runes. And not all runes were equivalent. If, for example, if you went for, like, flat armor, maybe the best rune, maybe the best slot was the yellow runes. And, like, for example, the blue runes would be, like, 1/3 of the efficiency of a yellow rune. So it was kind of this, it was kind of designed to be swapped around like this. And if you played against someone with no runes, that was an auto win. Everyone did this. They made their runes absolutely for the early game. It was like the best flat magic damage, the best flat AD you could get, the best armor for the lane that you're going in, and the best everything essentially. And that's what everyone did. I did things differently. I actually only had 2 rune pages. I had a full rune page of ability power per level, and a full rune page of attack damage per level. That's it. I had nothing else. Even if it was inefficient, I was using the per level runes. You know why? Because I did the fucking math. I did the math. Oh yes. And essentially this went like this. I played mid lane exclusively pretty much at that time. And I usually played something that wasn't melee. Something that I could just farm with a little bit. And I did the math. If my full rune page was ability power per level, then that meant, sure, if I'm playing against someone in the mid lane, yeah, if I fight them directly on level 1, they will absolutely decimate me. They have more resistances, more damage, more health than me. I have absolutely no shot at winning. But this is the thing. When you calculated the damage increases and whatnot, if you slotted in full ability power per level, you actually were equivalent in damage to your opponent who has the best early game rune setups on level 5. And that didn't take that long of a time. So on level 5, you were equal in damage power and output as the person who went for full early game. And on level 8, you were stronger than them. And considering I played things like Lux and whatnot, I just had always the opportunity to not fight my opponent, just sit back and farm and, just poke them maybe a little bit from afar. It was not dangerous at all. I would just not fight them until level 5, and on level 5 I was equivalent, on level 8 I was 100% stronger than them. It was great.
Of course, everyone always had at least one 1% crit rune. Anyway, the problem with these was that you needed a lot of runes to fill a rune page, with one full rune page being equivalent to one champion of the highest cost. But also, you couldn't customize the page before each game started. You had to set them up ahead of time, and then when you were picking champions, you would lock in one of the pages. By default, the game gave you 3 rune pages.
And I used only fucking 2. You know what the best part was about these rune pages? When they ended, you got all of the IP that you spent on the runes back. Oh, it was like fucking Christmas. Suddenly, you can legitimately just buy like 4 or 5 of the champions that you wanted for such a long time because you just got it all back. It was like Christmas.
So usually you would set up one for attack damage, one for ability power, and one for tanking. But what if you wanted to play a support who needs mana regeneration?
Get fucked.
Well, you had to buy an extra page.
Get
with
fucked.
each new page costing the value of yet another new champion.
Get fucked.
Or $5. Basically, this would be equivalent to buying dual spec in WoW, except you could buy it with real money, and you needed it 5 times. So what did Riot do? Did they lower the price to make the system a bit more fair? No, they removed it entirely, because pay to win is not what Riot does. The reason why it was in the game in the first place is because it was an idea from 2009. Back then they didn't even know how they wanted to monetize their game, so they were trying out random things. Anyway, as you can see, even when Riot gets close to pay to win, they always steer away from it. They know how bad the impact can be, and their normal monetization formulas are working, so why would they damage it? Now, this entire time I pretty much talked about things that everyone else talked about as well. The 3 big factors steering the course of Riot's MMO. Number 1 being people attracted to the IP, number 2 being monetization that is nearly guaranteed to be fair, and number 3 being the fact that Ghostcrawler mentioned that the team working on Riot's MMO is stacked. Anyway, besides these 3 points, there is also a hidden 4th one. And it's a big reason why Riot's MMO is set up for success, and I'm not joking. It's something no one talked about because everyone is focused on the gameplay. But I strongly believe this one might affect how Riot's MMO rolls out. You see, League has been selling skins for 13 years now. That is 13 years of gathered data. Data which can be applied to the MMO.
Gathered data, my fucking ass. On contrary, what shit companies like Victoria's Secret want you to believe that like fat and plus sizes and shit like that is beautiful, Riot fucking knows what people really like. Oh yeah, skin tight, big fucking boobs, big fucking ass, a beautiful, luscious women. That's right, Riot understands that, and every literal female skin is exactly that. And you know what? It fucking prints money. And you know what? They also understand what men like. Men like big, fucking, powerful, slick, cool skins. Oh yeah. If a skin is one of these criteria, it's gonna get bought. People are gonna love it. People are gonna want it. Every skin that they sell and sell the best is either skin tight suit, sexy booba, or cool looking strong guy, male power fantasy. It's never anything else. And admittedly, here comes the Gragas player, but I bought my Gragas skin. Well, you know, you play enough, or you play long enough, you're tired of looking at the thing. You know, the thing I said way back. Even if you don't have an option of the slick, overpowered male power fantasy, you're gonna buy a skin. But imagine this. How many skins, for example, Gragas would sell if it suddenly offered you a power lifter fantasy that actually looked hot? You know, I'm talking about the 6-pack. I'm talking about looks cool, slick haircut, and all of that shit. Oh yeah, it would literally boost the popularity of a champion tenfold.
They know what skins sell and what don't. They know which aesthetics are appealing and which are not. But most importantly, they have skin lines in League that people love. And these could be ported over to the MMO. Now, if you don't play League and you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Instead of just giving random champions random skins, Riot likes to connect skins together and make them part of the same alternative world. For example, there is
It's called a skin line, I think.
the High Noon alternative universe. And champions who share the same High Noon skin can be cowboys, clockwork angels, demons from the Wild West, and people corrupted by demons. They all share the same thematic, and together they make up an aesthetic that people get attached to. So what happened over the years is that Riot made skin lines that people love. And every time a new skin from that skin line is released, it is an instant success. And of course,
yeah, because they know how to make a skin that people like. Again, literally what I said. Sexy and power fantasies.
what they can do is that they can take these successful skin lines and sell them as transmog in the MMO. If you consider the fact that they have 30
And as we all, by the way, know, MMO's true endgame is literally just being the hottest bitch around. Everyone knows that.
15 years of customer data about purchasing skins, they are set up for success if they decide to sell premium transmog, because they know what transmog is gonna be popular. What's even cooler is that even though they didn't give us the exact order, Riot confirmed 5 of their most popular skin lines. So now let me show you what might potentially appear in the in-game shop. Again, there is no particular order, but first there is the Project skin line. This one is an absolute classic. It is a futuristic skin line with energy, blades and guns, as well.
Yeah, pretty much your cyberpunk means Evangelion. Obviously, people are gonna love it.
Well as some really deadly robots. Next there is KDA. The success of this skin line is driven by the popularity of their virtual K-pop band.
Wait.
The song
Virtual? What do you mean, virtual? I'm sorry, have I masturbated to a virtual band? I'm pretty sure that Flesh and Blood also. Getting awkward.
songs were a massive hit, and of course, these skins were too. So this one seems like
Gee, I fucking wondered why they were an absolute hit. Man, does anyone see anything that could potentially make... I'm blind. I don't see anything. Oh my... Hot cells.
easy money, though I'm not sure how my Freljordian Barbarian is going to be wearing one of these. Next, there is also Darkstar, a skin line around dark cosmic entities that are destroying worlds. The vast majority of these skins are stunning, and I have to point out that Darkstar Jhin is one of the best-selling skins in the history of League.
Well, Darkstar is just a cool edgelord type of thing, honestly. And, well, Jhin is one of the most absolutely all-time played champions. So, yeah, people... There's gonna be a lot of skins sold for the champion that's played the most, you know? It's kind of a correlation thing there.
Then we also have Spirit Blossom, a skin line released with an awesome visual novel inside League of Legends. This one is themed around Eastern legends.
I'm pretty sure it's just literally Irelia mains and Yone mains just fucking going at it.
However, this skin line is also unique, because this skin line portrays mythical stories that Ionians believe in the canon universe.
Cool.
So in a way, these skins are canon. It's just that the champions are not themselves as champions, they are portraying the mythical stories. And lastly, there is the Star Guardian skin line. What originally started as a Sailor Moon knockoff eventually became its own universe with some very cool stories. The Star Guardian...
Who doesn't wanna play this? Which male actually doesn't wanna fucking play a good-looking six-pack open from the front, good haircut fucking dude? Everyone wants to play that. It's obvious.
universe is perhaps the most popular one, with Star Guardian Jinx.
I mean, I'm a man of the internet, and obviously, since my conception, my only dream in life has ever been to be a cute lolly in a game. Yeah, obviously that's gonna sell like fucking hot pancakes. Introduce a lolly skin. Bam! But the printing press is on, boys. Of course this is... Nobody even plays Lux. That's the best part. But everyone wants it because... I mean... Look at it. Do you honestly not want to just, you know, open up your wallet and bang it on the table so Riot gives you the skin faster? I mean... Of course...
Also being one of the best-selling skins ever. So this one would be an easy moneymaker too. But this time we have 2 male champions here, although it would still probably look weird on my Barbarian.
I don't even know who is that.
That is it for all the things I wanted to talk about. There was one more point, however, that point kinda crumbled. You see, I wanted to mention that while Riot Games is running their games in the West, in the East it was ran by Garena, which meant
G-Arena.
that as the West had their normal monetization, Garena could use the Eastern monetization in the East. and the two basically had their own ecosystems. However, a few weeks ago, Riot just cut off Garena entirely,
yeah, I
and they
forgot
decided
about
to
that.
operate League of Legends in the East themselves. What's funny is that Blizzard kinda tried to do the same thing, but Blizzard is not able.
Blizzard wanted to do that because they wanted a bigger slice of the motherfucking pie. Because they're a greedy bunch of fucking retards, okay? That's pretty much it.
To run their own games in the East. So while they also cut off their own Chinese publisher, because they can't publish it themselves,
Yeah, they're
WoW
fucked.
is just gone. Anyway,
I haven't actually looked at their stonks, it's probably down.
what I wanted to mention originally is that because there is the West and East, because in the East players are more friendly towards pay to win, Riot can now operate two different ecosystems themselves.
By more friendly to pay to win, he means literally no one gives a shit about pay to win. It's a cultural thing that if you can pay to win, you kind of do it as a show of status to a certain degree. That's kind of part of it. And the other part is the mentality that winning by any means is very acceptable. So, you know, if you're gonna be the best, and you can be the best, you might as well cheat to try and be the best. It's a pretty bad mindset, I would honestly say, but it is real.
And so, even though I'm not really sure if this still holds up because they are no longer ran by Garena in the East, I still believe that Riot can run separate monetization in separate regions. Because now they are controlling everything themselves. So who knows, maybe
Interesting.
there will be pay to win, but that pay to win will only be in the East. I believe that's how Lost.
That's a problem, though. That is an actual problem, because how long are they gonna, you know, keep it only on the east side? Until a point where they say, hey, we need money? Let's just add this for a moment, right? Let's add this not so fair microtransaction pay to win type of bullshit lottery thing to the West version. Because the reality is, most of the time, when something gets introduced like that in gaming, it doesn't get removed because it just is too much money and everyone wants to see the green.
Arc is being handled, but I could be wrong. Maybe the chances are the same everywhere. Anyway, Riot's MMO seems to be shaping up really well. That is probably because the people behind it seem to know what they are doing, their player base is ready to try out anything, and should we actually get a good game, their monetization is ready to shoot it up into the stratosphere.
Probably.
There was also that time they were trying to sell achievements, like not achievement unlocks. You had to pay to access achievements, which was then followed by a separate version of the achievements which was totally free, so we don't talk about that.
Huh. Well, fucking God bless Necred. He is absolutely the only man I will ever consider in my life. He is the best, and very nice, interesting. I hope Riot's MMO is gonna be absolutely amazing, because it most likely will be. Anyway, like and subscribe. Bye-bye.